Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Conversations with Rickford Burke. This, of course, is Rickford Burke in New York. I'm coming to you at a different time because I just wanted to highlight an issue, the issue of the mistreatment of the Guyanese athletes, in the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas, who are participating in the Carifta Games, which end today. Share the link, everybody. I'll be back in 60 seconds. Text me, let me know where you're watching from, whether it's the Bahamas, whether it's Guyana, here in New York, East Coast, West Coast, Africa, the Caribbean, Asia, London, Europe, wherever you're watching from. I hope you're having a good day or a good night. Share the link and I'll be back in 60 seconds. Okay, good afternoon again, one. Welcome to Conversation with Rickford Burke. Of course, again, this is Rickford Burke here in New York. I just wanted to shine some light on what's happening in the Bahamas with the Guyanese athletes who were there participating in the 50th Carifta Games in Nassau, Bahamas. We've heard a lot of conversations on social media surrounding what has been happening there. And I can tell you, um, I'm going to bring in someone from the Bahamas shortly, but I can give you a background to the story. So the Carifta Games began last weekend, just I think it's on Thursday, and we began receiving reports that the athletes were stranded from Guyana. This is a perennial issue. Every year, our athletes are mistreated when they go to these games. We have an incompetent amateur athletics association that cannot make arrangements for these young people. They just cannot. Year in, year out, year go perennially. Each year is the same thing. Last year we had a disaster with regard to the participation of our athletes in Jamaica. So this year we understood that some of the students, those that live outside of Guyana, were able to get to the Bahamas, but they weren't able to get their credentials and allowed in the game village or the area where the other athletes are staying because of some payment of some fees. Then the other athletes who were traveling from Guyana were stuck in Cuba because no adequate arrangement was made. Then we understood that the government of the Bahamas chartered a plane to send for the students, the Guyanese athletes in Cuba that were stuck in Cuba, but the plane did not receive landing rights the first time. So the plane was not allowed to land in Cuba. It was still the following day, which is, I think, Saturday, that the athletes from Guyana who were stuck in Cuba were able to be transported to the Bahamas. And then when they got there were no proper arrangements for them for their accommodation. So the members of the Guyanese Association of the Bahamas had to accommodate quickly, get into gear to try to accommodate these kids, these young people, not kids, I'm sorry, these young people, these athletes. And so they were able to solicit the assistance of the Guyanese community there in Nassau and other parts of the Bahamas to help these young people. I understand that they are not staying together. They're in different people's homes. And then today we started to get messages from these athletes, their parents, and Guyanese who are part of the Guyanese Association of the Bahamas, saying that there was no arrangement that these young people knew of to get them back to Guyana. It was until about 12 o'clock today that the government put emergency measures in place to hire a charter aircraft to get these athletes from the Bahamas back to Cuba, and then made other arrangements for commercial flight to Guyana. So this is the information we have. Before I bring I was trying to get this up on the in the studio so we could play, but I want to play a voice note that is in circulation but is accurate about what is happening with the athletes in the Bahamas.
Fellow Guyanese of the Bahama Association, this is with grave concern that I'm reaching out to you guys. All that we've read on Facebook is true, and it's even worse. I just spoke to a very good friend of mine in Nassau who is saying that it is the Guyanese Association who has stepped up to help these athletes. One set is staying at Breezes. The other set is staying at PI and has to travel across to Breezes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the Guyanese Association has reached out to help these athletes. The Guyana government has not done anything. Even our government representative in Nassau has not reached out to these children. It is the Guyanese Association. So, my request, if anybody has any donation that we can send to these children, could you drop it off to me? And I'll ensure it gets to Nassau.
All right, so that's the essence of that message, and that's a Guyanese living in the Bahamas sending out a request for assistance. So I have with me a journalist and an artist in Guyanese, Mr. Will Pluck, who is in the Bahamas Mr. Pluck, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much. Hearing me?
I'm hearing you. Could you give our audience an update on what is happening with the athletes in the Bahamas?
Well, that summarizes most of what's taking place here and what have been taking place here for the past couple of days. It's all accurate, and I need to stress this because some people, I go online and I see a lot of nonsense, and people who seeing it as fake news and this nonsense. I know since Trump could talk about fake news, everybody's fake news. We are right here. Whatever happens, we don't have an axe to grind here, but it's an international embarrassment, and this is what every self-respecting Guyanese ought to be concerned about. Forget about the racism and political allegiance and all this nonsense. And this is part of what is keeping us back. And it brings international and regional embarrassment to us all the time. So not only last year with Jamaica, it's here and we live it. And when I am speaking so impassioned, you could understand because I was involved. And this here, what you're doing here, this release here, this public discourse is what should have been. But it could not have been allowed because the Guyana government does not want this to come public. And I'm saying this because even with me going to cover that game, I went through hell to get accreditation from the Bahamas Athletic Association. In spite of attempts being made in advance to apply online and all of that, 4 visits there, and yet they deny it. What they're hiding. Now they have Guyana government sent some photographer, two persons they sent from the press in advance of all these athletes. Athletes are the most important thing. I covered for Carifta games, I covered Commonwealth games, all of that. Oh, but two of them came in advance, so they weren't part of this whole fiasco. What they're doing, a picnic even before the athletes arrived. So that what you're explaining, and that what was explained to you there is exactly what I wrote a commentary on. But who reads? Some read, but they refuse to even acknowledge when they read. We are not doing all of that for public entertainment. We're not seeking cheap public entertainment. That's for people who want to talk nonsense. The athletes are here. I made a contribution. Yes, I did. Made a contribution to put towards whether the food, breakfast, I don't know what. But the Guyana Association here is something which I was a founding member of it as president once. Well, that is the association that still exists, and it is doing its best, its utmost to save yourself some international embarrassment. And of course, it's human beings you're dealing with. They're doing well on the track. They're doing well. They're getting gold. It's in the first day. And look at the inconvenience. The same Saturday they came. One missed the heats, missed the first heats, but yet they were able to get gold. They're getting bronze. They're getting silver. They're getting gold and representing the entire country. This doesn't got to do with Indo and Afro. They're representing Guyana. And this is, I have to be impassioned. I cannot pretend to be dispassionate as I speak. And whoever wants to get vexed, that's another matter. I really don't care. The point is, this must be told. Whoever it is, media person, wouldn't talk this if they have the God, they would talk it. But who's going to put it on? Who's going to make it public? Rickford Bork show. Yes. This is what's happening. Now look, imagine other athletes are here. They're engaged in representing their country. Each time it comes to Guyana, some crap. And if it were Indians, Indo-Guyanese, I am talking that too many people talk and they forget or they talk over the issue. The issue that faces us is racism. That's what's facing us. And when I talk, plenty don't, if it was cricket, you would have had a different thing. Don't tell me about cricket. If it was Indian, because Indians supported cricket. I'm not saying Indian, I'm talking about Indo-Guyanese. We know it, I live there. I'm 100% Guyanese. I know all that's happening there. I zero in on everything, not only here, not athletes come. I cover for Guyana before on Commonwealth Games, on Carifta Games. Oh yeah, but this year, the block pluck. And what right has anyone in any athletic association to decide on, one athlete, one media representative must cover for a country? That's nonsense, and it's a violation. of the rights of the media
So you're
rights.
saying you're saying that the Guyana, the Athletic Association of Guyana, was controlling who are the press members of the media who have access or accredited to the games.
It seems this is exactly what it seems, because if I'm a journalist here, not yesterday. All who don't know me will know me now. This is Will Pluck speaking. But they won't want me to speak, so I write. I write often. I cover every issue. The point is they send and they never send. So usually I would fill in. But it's well games or it is Carifta game. I fill in not for payment. I don't ask for payment. I'm sorry, my country. Now somebody here, I got 4 times to that the center where they're doing the recording. 4 times I took my time to drive and go 4 times. And I'll speak to speak to Rodina Miller. Who's Rodina Miller? Oh, we don't know the number. And this
let me bring you back to, so let me ask you this. So the voice message we got, and trust me, I know what is going on because I'm talking to people from the Guyana Association. I'm talking to parents, and the athletes are talking to their parents, and some of the parents are speaking to me, so I know what is happening. This morning I was getting a direct link between an athlete and the parent is just sending me the messages that parent is getting from their child, which was that as of this morning they did not know. The kids are saying, the young people are saying that they are staying with members of the Guyana Association, at least some of them. Is that true? They did not put them up at a hotel. There was nowhere for them to stay.
All right, let me put that in a perspective. From day one, you're quite right that somebody came through. A trickle came. One came from the States, another one from Jamaica. This is the one arrived first. And so what has been happening is that they were staying across on Paradise Island. And some of them were staying on Paradise Island even to when the rest came. On Saturday, they bought,
which is a different island from Nassau where the games are.
Well, it's linked by a bridge. They sit in the Portia Bridge, take you across, and then you come back on the other route. But yeah, it is is often the mainland New Providence. It's across where you have Atlantis and those hotels. Right. But they're not staying at Atlantis. They're staying some other place. They stay but the food was not being provided. You see? So within that first day, the call went out. I myself responded. They said, well, look, whoever, and this is what Guyanese have been doing through the association. This is established. Nobody got robbed anybody, no money, because this crap is what people all who want to get a political act to grind it nonsense. All on Facebook. I see the nonsense. You see, we put money together. They gave them one lady carry us. Well, she didn't even put the money. She prepared roti and whatever and gave them breakfast. This is not lie. We're lying. You see?
Well, I have video.
Ramsey has to do better than that. You got to come off his high horse. Yes.
Well, what we're hearing now is that the government provided the funds to the Athletic Association, and the Athletic Association is where the breakdown took place. But my contention is that year after year we had this. It's a perennial problem. And I'm asking, why didn't the government, I'm not asking you this, but my question to the government, to the Minister of Sports, is if you are aware that the Amateur Association has been a failure year after year, why did you call in the association a month ago, 2 months ago, and exercise some oversight and say, what are your preparations for the Bahamas? Let me see your plans. When are these kids going to go? Leave? What are the arrangements? Do they have their tickets? Where are they staying? When they compete, and is there transportation on the ground? Meal arrangements for meals are in place. Let me see all of these. How are they getting back home? Any sensible government will do that. Yes, we understand that the Athletic Association is an independent body from the government. But I'm saying when these young people leave Guyana, they're representing the country, including the government and the people. So given the history of failure of this amateur association, and we have to do a program on that, because all of them should resign. Every one of them, including Mr. Aubrey Hudson, who's the president. He's a bungling, incompetent fool. He has been doing this since the coalition was in power. Nobody has been able to get rid of him. And I'm calling for all of the clubs in Guyana, all of the athletic clubs in all of the regions who keep electing this man, to immediately file a no confidence motion against him and kick him out. He's incompetent. He's endangering the welfare of these children. He had them stranded, these young people stranded in Cuba. But there are lots of comments on social media. These young people are sending photographs and videos to their families. I have some of them. I'm not going to show all of them. I'm not going to show the videos, but I'm going to show some of the photographs. So let's look at some of the photographs now, and we'll come back on the other side. These are photographs that the athletes themselves and people around them have been sending out. I'm not sure how do I get them. I'm not sure if can you see, let me see if I can do it a different way. I'm showing it there, but it's so small, I don't think the audience can see it. So I'm going to try a different way. Because, the audience, we need to see this. Okay, let me see now. I'm getting there. Spirit, give me a second, audience. It's important for us to see rather than just talk. And this is not to embarrass anybody. Let me say this. This is not to embarrass the kids, but I think we need to have a reckoning here. We cannot allow our Guyanese students to be treated this way. Guyanese athletes, sorry, I keep saying students. Guyanese athletes to be treated like this whenever they travel. So I'm going to show some of the conditions. I hope I capture, this one should not be here, right? I'm downloading them, so bear with me. I'm just going to show some. And then during the opening session, they were not allowed to participate in the opening ceremony. All right, so I think I might have some of these photographs now. Let me see.
Well, actually, they sat with the audience.
They sat in the audience.
Yeah, but they weren't allowed in the athletes' village like the other athletes.
Okay, good. So let's see this one now. Let me see if I can get that. I'm having some amount of difficulty here. Let me try a different way. All right. So let me see this way.
Single, perhaps. You get it each single.
I'm getting. Yeah. Let me. All right. Let me see this way. All right. Good. I think I might have a. Let's see. Okay, that is something else.
Yeah, but most
I
of
don't know
what
why. I don't know why I'm getting a problem with these photographs. Well, let me try something else here again. But because I want to see, I want people to see exactly what these kids were these young people were subjected to. Let me go back here again. Share. All right, let me see if I could get it this time here. I'm not getting it. I will get it. Just bear with me, folks. I need people to see this.
Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, let me
In the meantime, you
just
could give them an update.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Let me just add in. Yeah, they were stranded in Cuba, and attempts were being made from this end. I don't know what the Guyana end, but I'm talking about here. Pineapple Air went. I think it is the Pineapple Air that went on Saturday, on the Friday, where it was refused landing rights in Cuba.
Mhm.
And as much as I gather, the Bahamian government eventually may have sent the Bahamas here, but that's how they came. So they came in just about midday on that day on which the actual events and the heats supposed to get started. But this is a
Mhm.
kind of traumatic encounters, you know.
Hmm. I'm still not getting. I don't know why this is happening. I'm still not getting these photographs uploaded here. But these are photographs of these young people staying in somebody's homes. And maybe maybe you guys are seeing them. I have one to the top of the screen there.
Yeah,
But
it's grouped.
uh
Yeah, it's grouped together. Yeah, you're seeing group photograph.
yeah, I'm not sure why it's not. Let me see if I can. No, it's not. I'm all right. Let's see. Okay, so let me do something here and see if okay, good. So I'm showing some of these photographs. Let me bring back Mr. Pluck. So I don't want to show all of them, but I just wanted to the audience to get an idea that we're not making things up. These young people are sending back some stuff to others. Some of them sending stuff to me. Some of them sending stuff to their parents and their friends, and that's how we understand what is going on. Um, my understanding is that at 12 o'clock today, the government chartered a flight for these young people to be taken back today. I think the games ended today, to be taken to Cuba today and then to fly commercially back to Guyana. Is that true?
Well, the game ends today, not at 12. I know some athletes supposed to meet with them after the games, and usually we put together some package and whatever appreciation we may want to extend to them, but not today. It's not that it's expected that they will go back now at this point. And we're supposed to have a meeting with them. And one girl, I think there was one athlete who was supposed to leave today. I don't know whether it's the one in Jamaica or whether it's the one in or from the US, because you had some who joined from those locations, but they're all Guyanese anyway.
Mhm.
So that's unclear. with respect to that. But the Bahamas government, I don't know if an arrangement has been made. You see, the Bahamian government was not the one. There was an attempt made to get the Guyanese from Cuba by a private charter aircraft that was using landings. I don't know if the Bahamian government has been approached again to take them back to Cuba as of today. But some arrangement has to be made anyway, because otherwise the inconvenience will continue anyway. But that's
Well,
much as I know.
I got confirmation from a source in Guyana, more than one, directly involved in this, that the aircraft was paid for, the charter was booked, it was paid for, and whenever it's arranged for these young people to be flown back to Cuba to then get commercial airline, I think it's Caribbean Airlines, to get back to Guyana, that all of those arrangements have been made. The source that I spoke to was not sure about the tickets for Caribbean Airlines to take them from Cuba back to Guyana, but they were certain that a charter was hired to take the students from the Bahamas back to Cuba. What's your advice for the Amateur Association? The Athletic Association, sorry. The Athletic Association of Guyana.
In Guyana.
Yes.
Well, obviously, what you suggest, I embrace exactly that point you made and recommend. It seems that though somebody incompetent or have to be cannot go on. It's instantly. That thing is happening, the same thing over and over repeatedly. You're getting the same results. It's madness. It's insanity. And somebody has to be questioned. Whether the minister who is responsible for them has to step forward. They can't be hiding in the dark. This here is a matter that comes within and under his portfolio. You see? So he has to pull who have got to be pulled together and have some respect being shown and give the appearance of something being properly managed is within his portfolio. You see, people take these positions and masquerade with them. I've seen enough, I read enough when it comes to Guyana. There's nothing that I'm not aware of. I'm aware of the times I pick up on some, others I leave it for later on. But I got a stockpile of things to speak. They talk about, I interviewed athletes before. Carifta Games, Commonwealth Games. Boxers came then, and the clubs where they operating from, they can't even afford certain things. The problem with Guyana is that this partisan thing, somebody supports this set of athletes. If it's track and field, it's black athletes. When it's cricket, it's some other Indian athlete, Indian playing. And so we have this divisiveness, and the racial division is pulling the country down. It's nonsense. I don't even see, I've been there. We don't see the Indians coming out when it comes to these public occasions. But I came out a month ago, or when the president, oh yes, they're poor. I really don't care who wants to get vexed, but these are the observations I make. Not with this sense. They pour out, from which they're coming from. They pour out from the hole or the alley. Well, I didn't go because I'm saying I would have had questions to ask. And even now, with this thing that happened, I would have had more questions to ask. I'm not going to listen to no lecture. I've seen enough. Everything is public every day. This is the age of internet. You don't have to be there. You see it every day. People pull things out and give me. I write all the time. You see? But they come out, and this is part of our weakness. We will be buried with it. 50 years, Carifta, and we're making headlines for the wrong reasons. Absolutely unacceptable. Who's going to play politics and play race politics? Because that's what we play in there, race politics. Nonsense. And you come to skin teeth. The president came yesterday, went and took photographs. Whoever went, I don't know where some went, whether it's to kiss him, but this is what went on. Black and Indians. That's what they do. Everybody kissing up to somebody in that country. And the actual, what should take place is not being addressed. What should be addressed? And this is why other people in this same Caribbean, they take us for grass and they treat you like that. This is what's happening. I know it. We don't get good treatment anywhere. Even right here, what good treatment? You keep your mouth shut and stay in the corner. Nobody wants to hear an opinion from you. What opinion? I come here to give an opinion. Here, where else? There's no other forum in which this will be discussed. The two press people who came, then got the guts and the courage to come and say this. Oh yeah, but they come to cover for Guyana. Oh yeah, this is people. Oh, Tonic Williams, darling, who in charge? She and her team. Or they denied. Well, I read one. They do commentaries. I don't have to go and photograph at least. Photograph in this day and age. Everybody get a phone and go take photograph. If that's all.
So I've just been able to.
We need commentaries.
If you can hear me, I've just been able to, through the assistance of one of our technical guys who joined me online. I don't know how we did it, but I was just able to get up some more photographs. So let me show those photographs, and I'll come back to you. So that last photograph there, was actually these young people sitting in the stands with the audience because they didn't have all their credentials worked out. That is so sad. That is so sad. We have just about 2 or 3 minutes to wrap up. And again, I wanted to do this program because we're seeing all of these people trying to defend this situation in Guyana. And I maintain that the government bears some responsibility as well, because the government should have ensured that the Athletic Association put proper arrangements in place this year, given what happened last year. The government had to do the exact same thing last year. The government had to make an emergency arrangements. How can the government not bear responsibility this time? After they know that we have an incompetent leader and executive of the Athletic Association. Your final thoughts?
Well, I hope that persons look by observation. You're seeing that all the athletes that you're showing there and all the athletes that came are black, I say black, colloquial term, black people, children. You see, they're not Hindu, but an Hindu one came for the press. Anyhow, one was Hindu. But this is part of our problem. This is part of the problem. Oh, yes, black people, nothing wrong. No, carry on. You're just a window dressing and come here, talk nonsense. Racism goes on in Guyana. Yes, and it's
but let me push. Let me say this. The Athletic Association is governed by Afro-Guyanese as well. So this is more to me absolute incompetence and ineptitude. Now, I tend to agree that were it cricket or something where the government has a keen interest, they might be more responsible and they would have exercised a little more oversight to ensure things went smoothly. I would accept that. But I think fundamentally, the Amateur Association is just incompetent. The president of the association, Aubrey Hudson, is incompetent. He's inept. I don't even think he is eligible to keep managing this association because of all of the incompetence. It's a colossal failure. year after year after year. Now, we had an exact problem with the Guyanese students who were coming here to run for the pen relay, where the Amateur Association made inadequate arrangements. These kids had to come here. Family members, members of the Guyanese community had to put them up. When the Amateur Association was required to send documentation, nothing. They were very uncooperative. So, and then he goes into the press and attack people. This government knew, again, this government knew from the time they came in, this was a problem. It happened in 2000, it happened in 2001, it happened in 2002, and now it's happening again. And I maintain that the government is equally incompetent, because they should have called in Mr. Hudson and his executive and questioned them, assess the arrangements they have, let them lay it out. We don't want a situation where the government is taking over athletics and the athletic association, but the government has a responsibility to exercise oversight. Why? The government gives them funding, and the government is harassing other organizations because they give them funding, calling for audits and all of these things. I understand that Mr. Hudson got $6 million for this trip. What did he do with it? What in God's name did he do with the $6 million? These young people are staying at people's homes. They're staying at people's homes. But I have to run because I have another interview coming up. Go ahead. Your final thoughts?
What keep them says now only black and Indian. Political contact. This is the problem there. Yes.
Thanks for coming on. I'm backing up on another interview I have to do with a TV station here. Thanks a lot for joining me, and thanks for shedding light on the situation in the Bahamas with our young people.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and good evening to everybody.
All right.